Hi guys, welcome to chapter 3 of calculus, where we dive even deeper into derivatives all chapter long. We are going to start this chapter by introducing a new rule called the chain rule. And we're going to introduce this rule by using a rule we've already learned about, which is the product rule. So I want to take the derivative of this, x cubed minus 3, all of it squared. Well, I know anything squared I can separate as multiplied by itself. So I do that here. And now I have something times something, which means I can do a product rule. So quick reminder of product rule. If I'm doing the product rule, I do my first something and my second something. And then I take the derivative of each of them. So 3x squared is the derivative of x cubed minus 3, and same over here. Now the product rule says to start over on the first one and do my diagonal, multiply them by each other. So this first one times its diagonal. And then product rule says add, and then I do my second diagonal. So x cubed minus 3 times 3x squared. Now, I'm going to simplify this a little bit, meaning I'm actually going to factor something out, kind of like GCF. You know, if we used to have 3x squared plus 3x, you'd say, oh, these have a 3 in common, so I'm going to take the 3 out of both of them. That's kind of what we're going to do here, where I'm going to take my 3x squared out, and I'm left with the first one plus the second one, just like I did here. Took the 3 out of that, took the 3 out of that, and that's what I'm left with. Then even further, I have one thing plus itself. That's like saying x plus x, so that's 2 of those somethings, like that. And then I'm going to do one last thing. I'm going to rearrange things a little bit, just so that you can see this. I'm going to do that. Now we know those are the same thing, so that's okay. So I know that dx of x cubed minus 3 equals that whole thing. Now, this is actually your chain rule in action. So let's generalize this. Here's your chain rule. This is used to differentiate composition of functions. Now, this is the main way you'll see it written. You can sometimes also see it like this. But here's kind of how I've heard it explained. Think of the chain rule as a mommy function with a baby function inside. If you want to take the derivative of that, you take the derivative of the mommy, leave the baby inside, then multiply by the derivative of the baby. So let's go through a couple examples right here. So let's look at this one, number 1. If I look at this, my mommy function is x to the 4th. Or, let me rewrite this. I'm going to say all of this is u. So my mommy function is u to the 4th. So the first thing I'm going to do is take the derivative of my mommy function. So the derivative of my mommy function is 4u cubed. Then you multiply by the derivative of the baby. Well, my baby function is 3x cubed minus 5x. So I'm going to multiply by the derivative of that, which would be 9x squared minus 5. So I took the derivative of the mommy times by the derivative of the baby. And my one last step is I'm going to substitute what u is back in here. So 4u was 3x cubed minus 5x. All of that cubed. So I just took that and substituted it in. And then times by my 9x squared minus 5. And don't forget to label this. A couple of you lost points on your last test for that. And there we go. Let's try this one, number 2. Here, my mommy function is sine of u. So I'm going to start by taking the derivative of my mommy function. Well, derivative of sine is cosine. And then times by the derivative of your baby function. Well, the derivative of my baby is 3. Derivative of 3x is 3. And then lastly, I'm going to put what u is back in. And label it. Okay. Let's try g of x, number 3. But before I have you try this one, I'm going to have you rewrite this. Whenever you see a root, rewrite it as a fraction exponent. So that's a secret 2 on that root. So the fraction exponent is a 3 on the inside, 2 on the outside, 3 halves. So take this function, take the derivative of the mommy, multiply by the derivative of the baby, and try that one on your own. Go ahead and pause the video and try that out. Okay, how'd you do? This is what you should have gotten. I'm gonna go ahead and stop this video right here. In the next video, we'll do some more example problems and finish out the chain rule.